Hello students, let's start our second video. We are going to continue the first part only. In first part we have seen that the Bholi, she is very simple girl and her parents send her to school. And what happens in the school? The girls starts laughing at her. She is crying. At the same time the teacher comes towards her and she says in a sweet voice. But after hearing the voice, she gets some confidence that someone is behind me. She has not heard such a good voice towards her. Now she is trying to pick up her face towards the teacher. She is shivering. She is frightened. But the kind teacher tells her. Now let's see the further part in the video. However, page number 134. So let's start students. However, she decided to make an effort. She had such a soothing voice. She could not laugh at her. Bah, 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 boo. She began to stammer. Well done, the teachers encouraged her. Come on now, the full name. Boo, 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 Bholi. At last she was able to say it and felt relieved as if it was a great achievement. Well done, the teacher patted her affectionately and said, put the fear out of your heart and you will be able to speak like everyone else. Bholi looked up as if to ask, really? Yes, it will be very easy. You just come to school every day. Will you come? Bholi nodded. No, say it aloud. Yes. And Bholi herself was astonished at that she had been able to say it. Didn't I tell you? Now take this book. The book was full of nice pictures, and the pictures were in colored dogs, cat, goat, horse, parrot, tiger, and a cow, just like Lakshmi. And with every picture was a word in the big black letters. In 1 month, you will be able to read this book. Then I will give you a bigger book. Then a still bigger one. In time, you will be more learned than anyone else in the village. Then no one will ever be able to laugh at you. People will listen to you with respect. And you will be able to speak without the slightest stammer. Understand? Now go home and come back early tomorrow morning. Bholi felt as if suddenly all the bells in the village temples were ringing and the trees in front of the schoolhouse had blossomed into big red flowers. Her heart was trembling with a new hope and a new life. Now Bholi, she was a simple girl. After hearing such a nice voice, she started thinking that madam is not going to scold me. Madam says to her, now tell your name. She starts stammering, bo, bo, bo. Teacher says, don't stop. You have to tell your full name. I want to hear your full name. She says, bo, bo, Bholi. At last she was able to say and felt relieved as if it was a great achievement, and that time she started feeling relieved when she says her full name and she thinks that I have granted a big achievement. म्हणजे मी काहीतरी मोठं केलेलं आहे. मी माउंट एव्हरेस्ट चढले असं त्यावेळेला तिला वाटलं. माउंट एव्हरेस्ट चढणं म्हणजे फक्त माउंट एव्हरेस्ट चढणंच नाही, काहीतरी आपण आपल्याला वाटतं त्यापेक्षा जास्त केलं तर असं वाटतं की आपण काहीतरी सिद्ध केलंय, काहीतरी आपण प्राप्त केलेला आहे असं तिला त्यावेळेला वाटलं. वेल डन, द टीचर पॅटेड हर affectionately अँड सेट. आता ह्या शब्दाचा अर्थ काय होतो मी जरा व्यवस्थित वाचलेला नाही आहे. अफेक्शनेटली असं त्या शब्दाचा प्रोनाउन्सिएशन होतो. आणि ह्या शब्दाचा म्हणजे काय अर्थ काय होतो की टीचरनं आपल्यापणानं टीचर पॅटेड ॲट हर back affectionately and teacher said that good, you are going to do all the things in the same way. Put the fear out of your heart. Now remove all the fear from your heart and you are able to speak. You can speak everything. Bholi looked up as if to ask, really Bholi? She sees to her face and she asks her, really I can speak? Yes, it will be very easy. Teacher says it will be very easy. You can speak everything. You must come to school every day, but you have to come to school every day to speak nicely. If you want to learn something, you have to come to school in the same way to all. If you want to learn, if you want to know something new, if you want to propagate your pronunciation, then you have to come to school. And this, in the same way, teacher tells her, you have to come to school. Bholi nodded. No, say it aloud. Bholi just nods her head. म्हणजे ती फक्त आपली मान हलवते. But teacher says, no, you have to tell. She starts telling. She starts stammering. Yes. At last she says, yes. And Bholi herself was astonished. But at that time, Bholiला आश्चर्य वाटतं. I can speak. She feels. She was astonished. She was very much jumbled. I can speak. She was not confident about it. And that she had been able to say, but she was able to say yes. Didn't I tell you? At that time madam says, I have said you that you can speak. If you come to school every day, you can speak. Now take this book. Now take this book and you can read this book. You have to read this book, and after reading, I will give you another book. The book was full of pictures. Now this book was full of pictures of animals and their name. The book was full of nice pictures. Now Bholi don't know that everything has a name. We have learned in 9th standard lesson about Helen Keller that she don't know that everything has a name because she was blind and she was deaf. In the same way, Bholi was simple girl. She don't know everything has a name, and everything. The animals, most of the animals, they have the same color. They have the same pattern. Bholi also don't know all these things. The book was full of nice pictures, and the picture was of colors of dog, cat, goat, house, parrot, tiger, and a cow. The cow, she was just knowing a cow, that is Lakshmi. Means the cow which her father Ramlal has sold. And with every picture was a word in a big letter. Below every picture there was a word. In 1 month you will be able to read this book. In 1 month you will be able. Teacher says that in 1 month you can read all this book. Then I will give you a bigger book. After that I will give you a big one. Then a still bigger one. After that a bigger one. In time you will be more learned, and in this time you can learn everything. In this time you will be learned. You can tell everything. You can speak very nicely. Then no one will ever be able to laugh at you, and that at that time no one is going to laugh at you. At that time every person in the village is going to listen to you. People will listen you with respect, and you will be able to speak without slightest stammer. Everyone is going to give you a respect, and you will be speaking without stammering, without murmuring. Understand? Now go home and come back tomorrow early. Now go home. Zata and udya lawkar ye. Bholi felt as if suddenly all the bells in the village temple were ringing, and the trees in front of the school and the trees in the front of the school house had blossomed. Now she was very happy. She was feeling as if she was on the 9th cloud. She thinks that all the bells in the village temple were ringing. The trees was full of blossom. Everywhere there were colors. She was thinking in this time. The heart was throbbing with a new hope. Now she was thinking that now I can speak, I can do something. And here the first part over, the second part starts. Now let's see the second part. Thus the years passed. The village became a small town. Years passed. The little primary school became a high school. There were now a cinema under a thin shade and a coating gaining mail. The mail train began to stop at the railway station. One night after dining, Ramlal said to his wife, "Then shall I accept Vishambar's proposal? Then shall I accept Vishambar's proposal?" "Yes, certainly," his wife said. "Bholi will be lucky to get such a to do as a bridegroom. A big shop, a house of his own, and I hear several thousands of the bank account. Moreover, he is not asking for any dowry. That's right, but he is not so young. You know, almost the same age I am, and he also lives. Moreover, the children from his first wife are quite grown up. So what does it matter? His wife replied, 45 or 50? It is not a great age for a man. We are lucky that he is from another village and does not know about her pockmarks and her lack of sense. If we don't accept this proposal, she may remain unmarried all her life. Yes, but I wonder what Bholi will say. What will that witless one say? She is like a dumb cow. Maybe you're right, muttered Ramlal. In the other corner of the courtyard, Bholi lay awake on her coat and listened to her parents' whispered conversation. Now, in the second part, many years passed. Bholi was in the school. The village became a town. The little primary school was turned into high school. There was a cinema hall in the town, in the village. The mail train, which used to go from the station, there was a station but no train was stopping there. Now the train started to stop there. One night after dinner, Ramlal said to his wife, then shall I accept Vishambar's proposal? Now Ramlal was asking his wife, I must accept Vishambar's proposal. म्हणजे विशंबरने जे काही माझ्या समोर एक प्रपोजल ठेवलंय, जे काही एक काम सांगितलंय ते मी एक्सेप्ट करू काय? Yes, certainly, his wife said. Bholi will be lucky to get. Now what is the Vishambar's proposal? Vishambar wanted to get married to Bholi. Now Vishambar is 50 years old, like Ramlal, but he wants to marry Bholi. Bholi is half of his years and he wants to marry Bholi, and her parents are ready to give her to Vishambar. They are also ready to get married Bholi to this person. Yes, certainly, because Bholi was very simple girl. She was not able to speak. She has marks on her face. For that reason, her parents are ready for her marriage. One night after dinner, Ramlal said to his wife, then shall I accept Vishambar's proposal? Accept karu kai? Yes, certainly, his wife said. His wife says, yes, you should accept his proposal because Bholi is a simple girl. She can't speak. She has the poke marks on her face. The bridegroom, she says, she is so lucky. Bholi is so lucky after such a defect. A nice person is ready to marry her. He has a big house. He has a nice bank balance. But then, what happens if he has a child like Bholi? Lucky of that age, of Bholi's age. Bholi will be lucky to get such a to do bridegroom. म्हणजे एवढा चांगला तिला नवरा मिळणार आहे. A big shop, म्हणजे he has a big shop, a house of his own. He has his own house also, and here several thousands in bank, and he has several thousand monies in the bank. Moreover, he is not asking for dowry. This is the biggest problem of our society, the dowry. Dowry means before marriage, the bridegroom or his parents ask money from the girl's side, side. That's right, but he is not so young. Father says it's right. He has everything, but he is not so young. He is not nice person. Means he is not young person. You know, almost the same age I am. He is of my age. Means he is 50 years old. Then also we should marry Bholi to him. And he is also lame. Means he can't walk. He has problem in his backside and his knees. Moreover, the children from his first wife are quite grown up. Means the children from his first child are of Bholi's age. Then also we should get married. We should allow Bholi to marry him. So what's that matter? तर काय झालं तो म्हणतोय. His wife replied, 45 or 50 is not the big age, and they are all ready to marry Bholi to him. And all this conversation Bholi is listening from another corner. Vishwanath was a well-to-do grocer. He came with a big party of friends and relations with him for the wedding. A brass band playing a popular tune from an Indian film headed the processions, with the bridegroom riding a decorated horse. Ramlal was overjoyed to see such a pomp and splendor. He had never dreamed that his fourth daughter would also have such a grand wedding. Bholi's elder sister, who had come for the occasion, were envious for her luck. When the auspicious moment came, the priest said, "Bring the bride." Bholi, clad in a red silken bridal dress, was led to bride's place near the sacred fire. Garland the bride. One of his friends promoted Vishwambar Nath. The bridegroom lifted the garland of yellow marigold. A woman slipped back the silken veil from the bride's face. Vishwambar took a quick glance. The garland remained poised in his hand. The bride slowly pulled down the veil over her face. "Have you seen her?" said Vishwambar to the friend next to him. "She has pock marks on her face." "So what? You are not young either." "Maybe, but if I am to marry her, her father must give me 5,000 rupees. Ramlal went and placed his turban, his honor, at Vishwambar's feet. "Do not humiliate me so. Take 2,000 rupees, no 5,000, or we go back. Keep your daughter. Be a little considerate. Please, if you go back, I can never show my face in the village." Then out with 5,000. Tears streaming down his face, Ramlal went in, opened the safe and counted out the notes. He placed the bundle at the bridegroom's feet. On Vishwambar's greedy face appeared a triumphant smile. He had grumbled and moaned. "Give me the garland," he announced. Once again the veil was slipped back from the bride's face, but this time her eyes were not downcast. She was looking up, looking straight at her prospective husband. And in her eyes there was neither anger nor hate, only cold contempt. Vishwambar raised the garland to place it around the bride's neck. But before he could do so, Bholi's hand struck out like a streak of lightning, and garland was flung into the fire. She got up and threw all away the veil. "Pitaji, Pitaji," said Bholi in a clear, loud voice, and her father, mother, sister, brother, relations, and neighbors were startled to hear her speak without even a slight stammer. "Pitaji, take back your money. I am not going to marry this man." Ramlal was thunderstruck. The guests began to whisper, "So shameless, so ugly, and so shameless." "Bholi, are you crazy?" shouted Ramlal. "You want to disgrace your family? Have you regard for your izzat? Have you some regard for your izzat?" "For the sake of your izzat," said Bholi, "I was willing to marry this old man. But I will not have such a mean, greedy and contemptible coward as my husband. I won't, I won't, I won't." What a shameless girl. We all thought she was the humblest dumb cow. Bholi turned violently on the old woman. "Yes, auntie, are you right? You are right. You all thought I was dumb, driven cow. That's why you wanted to hand me over to this heartless creature. But now the dumb cow, the stammering fool, is speaking. Do you want 2 years more?" Vishwambar Nath, the grocer, started to go back with his party. The confused bandsman thought this was the end of the ceremony and struck up a closing song. Lamla stood rooted to the ground, his head bowed low with the weight of grief and shame. Now, Vishwanath means the future husband of Bholi. He is a grocer, means त्याचं किराणाचं दुकान असतोय, with his friends and lots of relatives. Now, he is going to do a second marriage, but he has brought a horse with full of decoration and he has a procession, means वरात ज्याला सांगतो ती चांगलीच मोठी घेऊन तो मॅरेजसाठी आलेला असतो. Ramlal was overjoyed. After seeing all these things, Ramlal was very happy that my fourth daughter, her marriage is also going to be a grand. And she is so simple, she is so stammering girl, then also her marriage is going to be a grand marriage. All his sisters are very jealous about her. He had never dreamed of his fourth daughter could have such a grand wedding. He had never thought that his fourth daughter is going to get such a nice husband. She is going to be married in such a nice way. Bholi's elder sisters, means her big sisters, came for the occasion were envious of her luck. They were envious म्हणजे jealous. ते खूप तिच्याबद्दल त्यांना खूप वाईट वाटत होतं, म्हणजे jealous होत्या त्या. When the auspicious moment came, the priest said, "Bring the bride." Now the marriage ceremony was started. The Panditji said to bring the bride. Bride means navri mulgi. Bholi clad in a great silken bridal dress. Now Bholi has worn a great, nice, costly silk dress, full red color, was led with to bride's place near the sacred fire. Now she was sitting at the bride place, means at the bridegroom side in the front of the fire. म्हणजे ती लग्नासाठी येऊन बसली. Garland the bride. Now पंडितजी said to garland, नवरीच्या गळ्यात माळा घालायला सांगितलं. One of his friends promoted Vishwanath. Now his friend Vishwanath's friend said to Vishwanath, garland the bride. The bridegroom lifted the garland of yellow marigold. Now the bridegroom म्हणजे husband किंवा नवरा त्यांनी माला हातात उचलली, which was full of yellow flowers, marigold flowers. A woman slipped back the silken veil. Now one woman came and she took out the, means she has put काय म्हणतात त्याला, भुडक्यासारखं ते समोर घातलेलं होतं ते काढलं गेलं. From the bride's face it was slipped down. Vishwambar took a quick glance. At that time Vishwambar looked at the face of Bholi. At that time he noticed that Bholi has a pock marks on her face. Now he got up. He started shouting, "I don't want to marry such a woman." But his friend, Vishwambar's friend, said, "You are also not young boy. You are also 50 or 50 age, and no one is going to give you such a young girl, so you have to marry." She had pock marks on her face. So what? You are not young either, maybe. But if I am to marry her, her father must give me 5,000 rupees. पण जर मला हे लग्न करायचं असेल तर तिच्या वडिलांनी मला 5,000 रुपये दिले पाहिजेत. Have you seen her? Said Vishwambar to the next friend to him. She has pock marks. He says, Vishwambar says, have you seen? He says to his friend, she has a pock marks on her face. डाग आहेत तिच्या चेहऱ्यावर. And his friend says, "Are you are also not so young. What happens if you marry such a girl?" But he says, "No, I am not going to marry such a girl. I want 5,000 rupees if I have to marry this girl." He stands up. Ramlal went and placed his turban. Now he has got up from the sacred fire. Ramlal starts crying. He takes out his pagdi and puts in front of his feet, in Vishwambar's feet. Now the pagdi or the turban is the mark of respect, is the mark of honor for the people living in the village or living in the town. He places pagdi in front of Vishwambar's feet. "Do not humiliate me," he says. "Do not humiliate me. Do not put me to shame. Do not insult me by doing all these things. I will give you 2000 rupees. If you want, can give you 2000 rupees. He says, no, I want 5000 rupees. Then only I am going to marry this girl. Be a little considerate, please. If you go back, I can never show my face in the village. He says, I will give you 2000 rupees. But he says, no, I want 5000. Don't do these things. He says, be a little considerate. थोड़ा सा विचार कर. If you go back, I will be facing such a big insult. No one is going to marry my girl. Then with 5000, then give me 5000 rupees. I will marry your girl. Tears streaming from his face, he starts crying. He goes inside and brings 5000 rupees from his locker. He gives to Bhishambar. At that time, Bhishambar goes in front of the sacred fire and start putting the garland in her neck. He placed the bundle of the bridegroom's feet. On Bhishambar's greedy face, he gives the 5000 rupees to Bhishambar. In the front of his face, he was very greedy person, like a dog. At the time when he wants a bone, he become very greedy, or the person at the same style Bhishambar was standing there. He was very greedy of the money. A trumpet smiled. He had very cunning smile at that time. He had gambled and won. Now he was gambling, means if I get 5000, it will be good. If no, then also it will be good. He was just gambling, and then he wins the game, and he gets the 5000 rupees, and also he gets the girl. Give me the garland, he announced. When Ramlal gave him 5000 rupees, he gets agreed to get married. Once again the veil was slipped back from the bride's face. Once again the nakab or the burqa, he was turned out. But at that time he doesn't see her face, and he start putting the garland. But now at this time, at the moment, the Bholi was looking downward, but this time her eyes were looking towards Bhishambarnath. Her eyes were not downcast. She खाली बघत नव्हती. She was looking up, looking straight at the perspective. ती बरोबर भिषमनाथच्या डोळ्यात बघत होती. अशा माणसाकडे पर्स्पेक्टिव्ह म्हणजे फ्युचर हजबंडकडे, आपलं जन्मोजन्मी जे हजबंड होणार आहे त्याच्या नजरेत ती बघत होती. अँड इन हर आयज देर वर नायदर अँगर नॉट हेट. ॲट दॅट टाइम Bholi's eyes were looking very stunning. There was no anger nor hatred toward his husband, only cold contempt. Just she was hating that this person has taken 5000 rupees from my father, and I am not going to marry such a person. Only this was being seen in her eyes. Bhishambar raised the garland to place. Bhishambar take the garland and he wants to put in the neck of the Bholi, but she holds the hand. He throws the garland in the fire and she stands up. Bhishambar raised the garland to place it around the bride's neck, but before it could do, Bholi's hand struck out like a streak of lightning. जसं बिजली येते तसं त्याचप्रमाणे she takes the garland in the hand and she throws out in the fire. She got up, threw away the evil. She removes all her the orni which was on her head. She removes that and she come out from the place. Pitaji, said Bholi in a clear loud voice. ती सांगते पिताजी, जोरात बोलते. At that time everyone was annoyed. सगळ्यांना धक्का बसतो. आई, everyone, the father, mother, sister, brother, relatives, everyone started staring at her. She can't speak. Everyone was very annoyed. Neighbors were started to hear her speak. Everyone was annoyed. Everyone was shocking. It was shocking for them. Without even a slight tremor, ती मर्मर न करता ती बोलते. हे सगळ्यांना आश्चर्य वाटतंय. Pitaji, take back your money. She says, Pitaji, take your money. I don't want to marry such a person who wants dowry. And this is the main biggest reason in our society. This is many girls are facing this reason because of this dowry system, the money system. Many girls have to give their lives, and this should be removed from our society because this is one type of जसं एखाद्या लाकडाला किडा जर लागला, जसं तो पोखरून काढतो, in the same way the girls have to face nowadays. And it is going on, means in the new style, the father, they say that we are giving this to our daughter, and the dowry system is continuing, and it is being very the roots of dowry system are very खोलवर गेलेले आहेत ते आपल्या समाजात, आणि हे काढणं खूप गरजेचं आहे. अँड इफ द गर्ल्स बिहेव इन द सेम वे दॅट वी डोंट वॉन्ट टू मॅरी सच अ पर्सन हू वॉन्ट डवरी, till that time it is not going to go out of the society. Pitaji, take back your money. I am not going to marry this man. Ramlal was thunderstruck. At that time Ramlal was very shocked. He was in a shock mood. What to say? He was thunderstruck. जसं एखाद्याच्या अंगावर वीज पडते आणि तो तिथंच थांबतो, तसंच तो थांबलेला होता. The guests began to whisper, so shameless, so ugly and so shameless. The guests, the women who were in the marriage ceremony, they started speaking that this girl is so shameless. She has broken her marriage and she is telling in such a way. Bholi, are you crazy? Shouted Ramlal. Ramlal says, Bholi, are you crazy? Why are you doing such a way? And because of you, my izzat is going to go. The people in the society are going to tell bad about me. No one is going to marry you. So she said, just for your izzat, I was ready to marry this person. But when he asks you money, I am not ready to marry such a person who wants money, who is so greedy about the money. But I will not have such a mean, greedy and contemptible, hateful, coward husband. मला असा नवरा नकोय जे पैसे मागतोय. I won't. What a shameless girl. We all thought she was the humblest dumb cow. The woman in the marriage ceremony who are neighbors of Bholi, they start speaking. They say that we thought you are very innocent girl. You are very you don't speak anything. But what are you doing this? She says, yes, I am not innocent. I am speaking very rudely. But what you want to say? I just don't want to marry this person. Bholi turned violently and told the woman. Bholi, she was very angry at that time. She goes towards that woman and she says, I am rude. I don't want to marry such a person. If you want to tell more, I am also ready to give you the answer. Vishwambarnath, the grocer. The Vishwambarnath take all his friends, relatives, and he starts going back. The person with the band, they also think that this is the last part of the ceremony. They also pack up their band and they also start going from there. Now the sacred fire was coming down. All the people came for the ceremony. They start going. Ramlal turned to Bholi and said, Ramlal, now he turned back to the Bholi and said, but what about you? No one will marry you now. He says, Bholi, what about you now? No one is going to get married to you now. What are you going to do in future? We are not every time for you. And Sulekha said in a voice that was calm and steady. Now Bholi means Sulekha. She says in a small voice, she starts speaking. She says without any hesitation, don't worry Pitaji, in your old age I will serve you. She says, Pitaji, don't take any tension in your old age. When you become old, at that time I am going to serve you. I am going to take care of you and my mother. I will teach in the same school where I learned so much, and I am going to teach in the same school where I learned, where I had gone, from where I have learned everything. In that school I am going to do teaching. In that school I am going to become a teacher. Isn't that right, ma'am? At that time Sulekha's teacher was standing there. She says to ma'am, I am going to be a teacher there. I am going to take care of my parents. Is that right? The teacher had all along stood in a corner. In all this picture, teacher was standing in the corner. She was seeing all this drama going on. Yes, Bholi, of course, she replied. At that time, teacher says, yes, Bholi, you have done everything right, and of course you are going to be the teacher in the same school. and in her smiling eyes was the light of deep satisfaction. In her eyes there was a deep satisfaction. Whatever she has done, she thinks that she has done right. And in her smiling eyes was the light of deep satisfaction that an artist feels when contemplating the completion of her masterpiece. At the time when the artist completes his masterpiece, completes his picture, or a engineer when he completes his building, or the doctor when he completes his operation, at that time they have a smile, they have a satisfaction in their face. In the same way there was a satisfaction in Bholi's eyes, and she was satisfied that she has rejected such a greedy person who is waiting for the money. Here the lesson ends. Now let's see the workshop. The first question: complete the following sentence using the words given in the brackets. Now the words are given in the bracket. You are going to write the perfect word in the sentence. One example I am going to solve. After the accident, his face was dash. Now every word in the bracket I am going to tell the meaning for the every word. Contemplating म्हणजे चिंतन करणे, ह्युमिलेट अपमान करणे, सिक्युर्ड घाबरणे, डिसफर्गर्ड विकृत वृत्ती जसं भीषणवर नाची होती, एनवियस हेवा, कंटेम्प्टेबल तुच्छ, मॅटेड गुंतागुंत, स्टार्लेड चकित. Now after first example we are going to solve. After the accident his face was dash, means here it will come disfigured, means vikrut. In the same way you are going to solve all the examples. Second question: the story focuses on some social problems and evil practices that are prevalent in the society. There are many social problems in our society. The first one is dowry, we have seen in the lesson. In the same way we are going to discuss about the social problems and the evil practice and their solution. One has been done for us, and the rest you are going to do. Discrimination between a boy child and a girl child. This is the most biggest problem now. From first only we are facing, there is a discrimination म्हणजे तुलना करणे मुलगा आणि मुलगी. This should be stopped. How it will be? What is the solution for this? Both must be treated equally. Chocolate has been brought for a girl, for a boy, but no chocolate. If dairy milk is brought for a boy child, only one chocolate has been brought for a girl child. This should be not be done. Everyone should be treated equally. The girls should also be sent to the school for the studies. In the same way you are going to solve all the problems. The third question is fill in the box with the proper letters. One is done for you, numeradar. The rest all you are going to solve it. Glance to the fourth question. Glance to the story again and describe Bholi's character before and after her meeting to the teacher. Now you are going to see, you are going to read the whole story, and you are going to tell about the Bholi's character, how she was before going to school and how she became after going to school. Complete the table, then write 2 paragraphs. You are going to complete the table and write in short about Bholi's nature. Find the synonyms. Synonyms means the same meaning of the given word. Humiliate, repair, attracted, surely. The sixth question is expand the proverb in about 12 to 15 lines. Given proverbs, you are going to where there is a will, there is a way. This is one example. For this, you are going to write this. For this proverb, you are going to write 12 to 15 lines. The step plantation of the proverb in simple words. You are going to write the meaning of the proverb, then where the proverb is used, and the conclusion. This is the sixth question. Now read the exact beginning from. Her name was Sulekha. Find the bridegroom for them. Narrate this exact in short, making Sulekha Bholi the narrator. Write in the notebook. Begin with I. I was named Sulekha. Now you are going to read the story once again. Her name was Sulekha. From here you are going to start, and instead of Bholi you are going to write I. Interview. Take an interview. Prepare a set of 10 to 12 questions that could ask at an interview of a person who had strongly acted against social injustice. Means the person who are working for social work, who are working as a social worker, you are going to take their interview. They have faced a biggest problem, and after that you are going to ask them question. You are going to prepare 10 questions for this interview. Now the last part is the language study. In first, rewrite the following in the indirect speech. So it in your notebook. Now direct to indirect speech, there is given in direct speech, you are going to write it in indirect speech. Just one example I am going to solve for you. Put the fear out of your heart and you will be able to speak like everyone else. Bholi looked up as if to ask, really? The example is, the teacher advised Bholi to put the fear out of her heart and she would be able to speak like everyone else. In the same way, you are going to solve all the rest questions. Rewrite the sentences given below as per the given degree of comparison without change of meaning. Without changing the sentence, you are going to just change the degree. Now you are not as young as she is. You are going to do is comparative degree. It is given in positive degree. You are not so younger as she is. This is the example of it. The rest you are going to solve it. Correct the errors in the following sentences. Focus on verbs and subjects. You should point out the error and you are going to repair that error. The first sentence I am going to solve it. All children except Bholi was healthy and strong. Your was, it will become were. All children except Bholi were healthy and strong. The rest you are going to solve. Thank you, students.